In the A-League, Joel Griffiths has booted home a spectacular equaliser to earn the Newcastle Jets a draw against Queensland. After the Raw drew first blood, Griffiths' stunning free kick late in the game was worth the wait. This is early spring, not midsummer, so some needed a bit of encouragement at today's Jets recovery session. It was that stunning strike last night from Joel Griffiths to earn a draw that put a chill through Queensland.
Simply brilliant!
It was also timely. Griffiths' goal levelling the Jets up at 1-1 with only minutes remaining as the Raw was silenced by home fans.
So I hit it really nicely. Sort of visualised what I wanted to do and I'm just fortunate enough that it went in.
It had to after Queensland pinched a Newcastle pass to take a one-goal lead via Ronaldo. His celebration not bad either, as they shared the competition points.
Just a few combinations we've got to get sorted out, and it's only early, and we can always build on that and just always improve.
The Jets head to New Zealand this weekend, but it'll be without Mark Bridge and Stuart Mashalik, who are both on Olyroos duty. Ironically, their game is in Newcastle. While visa problems keep Mario Jardel in limbo, the club remains hopeful that it will soon be sorted out. The same goes for issues surrounding a new ticketing system, which created long delays for some fans who missed kick-off last night.
The Newcastle Jets received a verbal assurance from the Department of Immigration today that Brazilian import Mario Jardel will get his playing visa. With the paperwork expected next week, the marquee will have to sit out another round.
He's no goalkeeper, but you get the feeling Jets import Mario Jardel would play in any position to get some game time.
He's getting a little bit bored with it and he wants to play and he wants to show Newcastle what he's about, and hopefully he can get that opportunity against Adelaide.
An opportunity that's firmed up today with confirmation Jardel's visa is due next week before being eased into the playing roster.
It's going to be difficult early on because he hasn't played games. It doesn't matter how good a player you are, you can't just now come out and play 90 minutes. So if he's included next week, it'll be more as an impact player.
Joel Griffiths and Jade North certainly made an impact on Jets rookie Jason Hoffman, who made his debut last week.
The senior boys were very, very good to me before the game and gave me a lot of encouragement, and I really enjoyed it. And hopefully it'd be nice to play again this weekend.
He's very young, still at 18. You don't want to be putting too much responsibility on young shoulders right at this moment. So I think a few more senior players need to step up to the plate.
The Jets have lost Mark Bridge and Stuart Mashalik to national duty, yet there's still two players to be eliminated from the top squad. Matt Thompson will definitely make the trip to Wellington, where on Sunday he'll become among the first A-League players to achieve 50 games. Adam McKilrick, NBN News.
Some huge news for the Newcastle Jets today, with star signing Mario Jardel receiving the appropriate working visa to play professional football in Australia. The former two-time Golden Boot winner of Europe has been sidelined for almost a month with issues over both his fitness and his visa, but now the FFA has all the documentation. He's expected to be cleared for selection this weekend against Adelaide. Defender Steve Labert could also be available for a team that now sits in second spot after that one-goal win against Wellington yesterday.
2 wins from 2 and riding high at the top of the table, the visiting Mariners travelled to Suncorp Stadium, having never beaten the Raw in their 6 league matchups. Also looking to reverse a worrying trend was Raw boss Frank Farina, still searching for his first win on home soil. In doing so, he was forced to reshuffle his back line following a calf injury to Andrew Packer. Korean Hyuk Soo So was promoted to right back, with Ben Griffin switching to the left. Tiato was given the holding role in front of Moore and Josh McLaughlin. Central Coast boss Laurie McKenna was reluctantly forced to change an 11 that boasted a 100% winning record. With fullback Dean Heffernan and keeper Danny Vukovic called up for international commitments, the Scot promoted Damien Brown to the left flank, with Matthew Trott entrusted between the sticks. Mike Cockrell and Paul Trimboli were at Suncorp Stadium.
Now Brown, his first opportunity of the season. Petrovski's ridden the first challenge from Hyuk Soo So. The ball screwed inside. Chance early for Kwasnik. Out quickly though was ready to block the shot. A little bit of fortune there for the Mariners.
Yeah, Adam Kwasnik there, receiving end of a lovely bit of play there. Lucky in the end, the ricochet fell into his partner. Good goalkeeping. Out quickly, Liam Reddy.
And Aldo gets away from Vidmar. Delightful ball in. Lynch. Tiato. Marcinho lines up the shot. Just clears the goal. He's getting closer, the Brazilian.
Wonderful passing sequence from the Queensland Roars. They kept it alive, then the wall pass, beautiful interplay. Marcinho with a strike on goal, hit it cleanly that time, teed himself up. Wonderful opportunity. He's disappointed he didn't test the goalkeeper.
Mackay squares it up, just needed a touch from Simon Lynch, and the Roar would have been in front.
Lovely lead-up play again. Matthew Mackay's willingness to run from midfield, splitting the Central Coast defence, and then the left foot ball across the box. Frank Farina frustrated.
Lynch. Huksu drives it. Huksu, it's been spilled by the keeper and it's just cleared the goal. Almost a moment of huge embarrassment for Matthew Trott.
It was good work by Lynch, the second effort. He battled hard. He waited for Sue to present on the right flank. And then, gee, he only had eyes for goal, didn't he? He tested the young goalkeeper. Slippery conditions. His heart would have been in his mouth for a split second as it slipped through his fingers. But Sue getting forward, causing danger.
Strong start to the second half from Queensland. Mackay, better delivery. Reinaldo's under it. Just won't go in for Queensland.
Better delivery there. I think Vidmar was perhaps concerned about the physical presence from Craig Moore.
We're talking to Tony Vidmar before the game. It's the first time he's ever played a match against Craig Moore. Plenty of times they've played together for the Socceroos. There's Rangers in Scotland as well. They're now contesting corners for opposite teams. Kwasnik has taken up a wide position. Drives it in, looking for Petrovski. Tiato taking no chances.
Good covering back there, Danny Tiato at the far post, but what a lovely ball curled in, Adam Kwasnik.
Damien Brown with the corner. Over to the edge of the box. Kwasnik with a shot, and it's gone in. Adam Kwasnik, against the run of play, has silenced the gallery here in Brisbane.
It's the absolute sucker punch. Central Coast winning the corner at the other end, and they sort of lulled them in back on top of their own goal. There was so much room on the edge of the box, and we see the ball played there from Brown. Kwasnik stepped onto it, didn't he? Strike it cleanly through the crowd. Difficult ball to hit, slippery ball. It's come through. Merger claiming that he may have got the last touch, but it was wonderful contact. Kwasnik, in my opinion, it's his goal. Difficult ball to hit across the body, but he executed it beautifully. You've seen that. That's a move worked on the training track. And the sucker punch for Queensland.
Now Marcinho, he's drifted out of the game. He's drifted right into it now. Marcinho, he should have scored.
What a wonderful burst of play there from the Brazilian. He cut inside, went past two players on the edge of the box, Brown and Vidmar. And just when you thought all he had to do was slip it past the goalkeeper, he just hooked it wide with the left foot.
He must score there, Marcinho. That is the sort of wastefulness that is proving to be so costly for Queensland. Another ball in from Huksu. Reinaldo, chance Milutic, blocked by the keeper. Great save from Trott.
And the tale of woe continues for the Queensland Roar. That time Sue put the ball in beautifully. It looked like Reinaldo was on for a chance. Didn't quite get on the end of it. Left foot chance straight at the goalkeeper.
Splendid save from Matthew Trott, but more pressure from the Roar. Mitch Nichols clips it back in. Reinaldo's header. Another great save from Trott. Two magnificent saves from the young goalkeeper, keeping the Mariners alive.
Wonderful ball again. Reinaldo got good purchase on the header. Look at that save. Full stretch going to his left, and the pattern continues. Frustratingly so for Queensland.
With both sides yet to record victory from their opening two matches, there would be no better time to land all 3 points. Jonas Sally had proved himself a tough campaigner in Adelaide's midfield. The Ivory Coast national teamed up with Angelo Costanzo in the middle of the park, with Travis Dodd and the returning Jason Spagnuolo on the flanks. Bruce Jittay's selection for the Olyroos allowed Paul Agostino his first league start. International commitments and key injuries had a noticeable impact on Ernie Merrick's starting 11. Leandro Love came in for Archie Thompson to partner Danny Allsop up front. With Steve Pantelides and Joe Keenan absent through injury, former Adelaide defender Matthew Kemp was handed the job at left fullback, while young Socceroos captain Sebastian Ryle made his league debut at right back. Your match commentators at Hindmarsh Stadium were Simon Hill and Robbie Slater.
Now Cassio's ball in. Agostino couldn't leap. Alagic on the volley. Well, that's the closest either team has come.
Unlucky Richie Alagic. This one's a difficulty in the air. A long time. Good technique. Just can't keep it down. Can't control it enough to get it under the crossbar. Certainly had Theoklitos worried.
This is Caceres trying to add another to that tally. Wonderful run. Adrian Caceres. Well, all that industry really should have been rewarded with a goal.
Well, it's a great run. Poise and balance and speed. He danced past a number of plays. Here's one. Comes inside. Shapes to shoot. Comes inside again. On his weaker foot, the right foot. It's the right idea across the keeper. But he just drags it wide. Great touch from Nathan Burns. What about that?
That was wonderfully done. Here he goes, old Twinkle Toes, and he's around the back of Matthew Kemp. Just couldn't find Agostino, but he's so dangerous when he runs at defences.
It's a great play. The control first. The ball was over behind him. Pulled it down. Stood up the defender. Got around him.
Agostino's touch. Nathan Burns with the shot. And it just drifts wide of the post.
It's a good sign for Adelaide. Nathan Burns involved early in the second half. Just drags this one wide on his left foot. Just opened up for him. Really didn't get a hold of that as he would have liked.
Free kick goes Melbourne's way, and Ernie Merrick is going to make his third and final change in a moment. It's not going to be Casper Tafter. Maybe Merrick feels it's not the sort of a game to throw in a young kid. Evan Berger is more muscular. He'll get his chance for the last 10 minutes. Here is a possible Melbourne chance. Oh, the goalkeeper came, didn't get there, and it's a goal for Melbourne victory. Roddy Vargas with 10 minutes to go.
Great ball in from Caceres. Of course, you have to question the marking, but here's the ball. Whipped in. Bajic comes into no man's land. Vargas with the challenge. Perfect header into an empty net.
Rodrigo Vargas scores his first ever goal in the A-League.
One of those balls where goalkeeper hesitates. Should I come? Should I stay? In the end, he came nowhere.
This is a good strong run by Diego. Head ball by Vargas. Peter Green points to the penalty spot. No question about it. Hero to villain in the space of 60 seconds, Roddy Vargas.
Well, how often do we see it? It's a clear handball. Diego drifts into the box. That's a clear penalty. No mistake.
Well, Richie Alagic had a similar experience last week. Scored at one end, gave away a penalty at the other. And now Rodrigo Vargas has done exactly the same thing for Melbourne victory. Well, Travis Dodd, who just loves scoring against Melbourne, he's scored 3 times against the Victorians in the past, gets the chance for a fourth, and the chance to tie it up at 1 apiece. Theoklitos moves around on his line, trying to distract him. It's Dodd. It's 1 apiece. And Hindmarsh Stadium erupts into a wall of noise.
Oh, and Theoklitos, he went the right way, didn't he? But he struck it so well, Travis Dodd, that even though Theoklitos guessed the right way, he couldn't manage to get to it. Keeps his cool, Travis Dodd. Oh, he gets a hand to it, I think. Theoklitos, I think, touches that. But Travis Dodd won't care. Into the back of the net. Well, we're wondering whether we're going to get a goal. All of a sudden, we've got space of 2 minutes. And it's now in injury time. It's to find that little bit of quality. Which team can find that? I think that Adelaide have.
Now, Erdogan in behind Matthew Kemp. Great ball in! Oh, off the bar by Burns! Adelaide so close. What a run. What a header by Nathan Burns.
Oh, what an impact he's made on the right-hand side, Erdogan. That was a wonderful cross. Whipped in with pace. And Nathan Burns very unlucky not to score the winner.
Aurelio Vidmar can't believe it. Here they come again.
Well, they're hanging on, Melbourne.
Back out with Alagic. 4 waiting in the middle. Theoklitos thought about coming. Dodd's header! Wide of the target.
Well, the first one, what a cross, what a run. Skips around Kent, whips this in. Theoklitos comes, misses it. Burns just heads it towards goal, crashes under the crossbar. This is the second one. Great leap from Travis Dodd. Looked like it was looping in at the far post, and it goes just narrowly wide.
Well, both teams have had real solid patches of play where they've been well on top.
Another healthy home crowd turned out to watch the league's newest franchise make their mark on the Hyundai A-League. Wellington's second match on home soil would provide a strong indication of just how seriously the New Zealand outfit could be taken this season. Exposed by the Mariners last round, Jeremy Christie moved to right back to bolster the defence. He joined Stephen O'Dore, Carl Dodd and Tony Lockhead in the Phoenix back four. After 2 impressive substitute performances, Felipe was promoted to an attacking role behind striker Shane Smeltz. Joel Griffith's stunning free kick against Queensland last round earned the Jets a valuable point. He would assume greater responsibility in attack following Mark Bridges' call-up to the Ollie Roos squad. 18-year-old striker Jason Hoffman was handed his first league start, while Tarek Elrich filled the hole vacated by the international-bound Stuart Mishalik. Commentary at Westpac Stadium from Fred de Jong and Harry Nada.
Now the Phoenix again on the break. Chance, here's Daniel into the box. Daniel shooting chance. Straight into the legs of Kovac. Good opportunity for the Brazilian and probably should have done better. But for the first time, the Phoenix really opened up the Newcastle defence. Johnson into the box, lays it off. Chance, Ferrante! And again, Kovac with the feet. Ferrante back again. No one there just to put the finishing touches on it for the Phoenix. But Richard Johnson just sets up Michael Ferrante.
Yeah, I think it's the second or third save he's had to make. Kovac, great work by Richard Johnson. Ferrante really should have scored there. He'd be unhappy with himself.
Elrich. Good run in behind, and Christie gets back. With a chance. Glenn Moss with the save. Hoffman's coming in. Carl Dodd does well to get his body in the way.
As we see, I think it looked like it was Matty Thompson there with the shot. Good save from Glenn Moss down to his right.
Switch of play for Newcastle. Here's Eagleton. Eagleton, no flag. Joel Griffiths onside. Hoffman's inside. And a terrific save by Moss. Stuck his hand out, Glenn Moss. And then gratefully caught the rebound.
Joel Griffiths, I think, just pushed up just a little bit too far, too quickly. The back line there. And a great acrobatic save from Glenn Moss.
It's a delightful ball. Again, the Phoenix in behind. Kovac misses it. Ferrante! Well may he put his head in his hands, Michael Ferrante. An empty net, and he blasts over the top.
A great cross from Tony Lockhead there. Forced Kovac to come off his line. And I didn't actually think he needed to slash the leather off the ball there. There was no one in goal. I think it was Jade North that was standing on the line.
Felipe plays it short to Ferrante. Back to the Brazilian, over the top. And Felipe almost catches out Ante Kovac.
Again, a short corner here. Back from Ferrante. I think it was a cross-come shot.
Wind swirling around the ground. Just making life difficult along with the greasy conditions. Johnson gets pinged for a free kick. The pressure really starting to tell at the moment, especially on the Phoenix. Matty Thompson lining this one up. Everyone standing clear. Thompson drills it hard and low, takes the deflection. Glenn Moss left stranded, and the Newcastle Jets take the lead through
took it to a wicket deflection. Might even have been Tony Lockheed, I think.
Well, the Jets have been threatening and they've got their reward.
The setback capped off a devastating week for coach Branko Kalina, who had 9 players missing as a result of international duty and injuries. Perth too had their own dilemmas, with 8 players unavailable and the unwanted claim of being the only team yet to find the back of the net this season. Striker Nikita Rukovica would be a key candidate to end the Glory's scoring drought. The 20-year-old partnered Mate Dragicevic in attack. Jamie Coyne moved inside to join Dino Djulbic in central defence, with Tyler Simpson called in as short-term cover to fill the void at right back. Former Socceroo Nick Rizzo earned his first start on the left side of a 4-man midfield. With striker Alex Brosk unavailable for selection, Brazilian forward Patrick was given the opportunity to make his impact up front. He was paired with Season 3 debutant David Zrilic. Socceroo selection meant Clint Bolton missed his first ever league match for Sydney, allowing Matthew Nash a start in goal, while Adam Casey returned from injury to line up on the right side of a 5-man midfield. Your match commentators at Members Equity Stadium were Mike Cockrell and Andy Harper.
Tully with a free kick for Sydney. Goes for goal. It's swinging in the air. Tomic down to his right. The overhead from Patrick. And for the first time, some panic in that Glory defence.
Well, it's not unusual for Ufuk Talay to strike them with a slight amble up to the ball, but he gets beautiful technique behind it. Tommy Tomic can only parry, and Patrick hooks the ball back into the danger zone.
Corica's corner, driven in. Important header away from Prentice. Corica has it back. 4 white shirts queuing in the middle. One of them is Zrilic. Free header for David Zrilic. He's put it wide of an open target. Tomic came, he was nowhere. Chance goes begging.
Well, this ball in from Steve Corica is absolutely beautiful. We've seen some wayward delivery across the A-League so far this weekend. Not on that occasion from Corica. Tommy Tomic came out and goodness knows what was going through his mind. Perhaps a lack of game practice.
Bertos. There's outside Casey, early ball in. Popovic was positioned well. Bertos gets another opportunity. Leo Bertos across the face of goal. That's been the story, really, of his career here in Perth, Leo Bertos. He flatters sometimes to deceive when the goal is presented.
Well, I take the other view on this. At last, it's only taken us 62 minutes, but at last someone has sized up an opportunity and not looked to pass on responsibility.
Here's Middleby. Low ball in. Zrilic, the shot on the turn. He's edging closer, David Zrilic. He's taking up good positions.
He just looked to hook that in at the near post. That is his third sniff at goal. Close, but not close or good enough from David Zrilic, the former club captain of Sydney FC.
Still hope that we might see someone break this stalemate. And 99.9% of the fans here are hoping it'll be the team in purple. Zrilic, shot on the turn. He's working hard, David Zrilic. He really is working hard.
He's not working Tommy Tomic, though. That's the problem. The number 9, traditional type number 9, he did very well there. That was a nice turn, set the volley up on the turn, but that's 4 good opportunities for Zrilic.
Jets representative players Mark Bridge and Stuart Mashalik have been named to the Newcastle side to host Adelaide on Saturday night. As expected, Brazilian striker Mario Jardel will play as well, set to wear Jets colours for the first time.
Good luck for you. It might be only half a game he can do this week, maybe 60 minutes, we're not too sure, depending on how Mario feels.
Fellow import George Dravandi hasn't been named in the squad, with coach Gary Van Egmond saying it's because of form, while injury has ruled new signing Stephen Laybutt out. 3 players are still yet to be omitted from the squad of 18, which includes Andre Durante, who's recovered quicker than first expected from an ankle injury. The intrigue surrounding tomorrow night's A-League match in Newcastle continues, with the Jet star signing Mario Jardel to make his long-awaited debut. But coach Gary Van Egmond is keeping his cards close to his chest in regards to how he'll use the former Brazilian star.
For the first time this season, Gary Van Egmond has almost every player in his squad available for selection, and it's made the job a tougher assignment than most. Adding to the mix was the clearance this week for Mario Jardel to play after a month-long wait for the correct visa. But he may be waiting a little longer to see game time.
Mario, we're definitely involved in the game this weekend, yes.
But as to starting?
Still not 100% sure.
The coach has welcomed the return of Mark Bridge and Stu Michalik from Olyrood duty, with the latter confident he can see out the full 90 minutes for the third time in 7 days. But even the players are keen to see their star recruit in action for the first time.
He came a bit unfit, but he's I've been away the last 2 weeks. He got his fitness up a bit, apparently, and he was looking pretty sharp there with his touches on the ball and stuff. So I'm looking forward to having him up there and hopefully doing some damage.
The bottom of the table clash was unfamiliar territory for the Sky Blues, who have seldom found themselves in the bottom half of the competition. Clint Bolton returned in goal for Sydney to earn his 50th league appearance for the club. Joining him in that milestone was defender Ian Fife, who lined up at left back. Mark Milligan and Alex Brosk were recalled after international duty, while Adam Casey played on the right side of an attacking three. Herbert's last visit to Sydney was one to savour. As coach of the now-defunct New Zealand Knights, he masterminded a shock 1-0 victory over the Harbour City. The All Whites coach named an unchanged 11 in his bid to claim the club's first competition win. Simon Hill and Andy Harper called the action from Sydney Football Stadium.
Patrick wins it for Sydney. Talley over the top. Now charged down and a real chance for Sydney FC, and the opening goal for Sydney FC, Adam Casey. 5 minutes gone and Wellington all at sea at the back, and Casey and Sydney profit.
Well, I think it's fair to say that will kill coach Ricky Herbert. It's an innocuous ball. Adam Casey backed himself from 40 or 50 metres out to use his pace to get the charge down, and finally some composure in front of goal. And Sydney, finally, are leading the fray and not chasing the football match.
Very special moment for him. Not least, of course, because he actually plied his trade across the Tasman last season with the Knights. Just the start that Branko Kolina would have wanted, would have demanded. His team has twice conceded goals in the first 10 minutes of matches this campaign. Now they're anxious not to concede again. Felipe! Oh, wonder strike! Absolutely sensational from the Brazilian. All tied up at one apiece. What a goal!
Well, he is the man. Felipe has come close in the previous matches, and he's absolutely nailed this one. Picking the ball up deep, attacking the defence, and siding the shot. Swerving away from Bolton. He was hapless. What a fantastic strike.
Well, that was a goal of pure quality, nothing less. And Clint Bolton never even smelt it. And we've had 2 goals in 9 minutes. Great start. This is Daniel. Ferrante in space centrally. Back towards Daniel. And is that a penalty kick? Matthew Breeze points to the spot. Foul on Daniel, and the Knicks had the chance to take a 2-1 lead.
Well, on first viewing, I think Matthew Breeze has got that right. Ruben Zadkovic, I think we'll find, is the player at fault. There's the body check on Daniel. He doesn't need any encouragement in those situations. And what's hurt Zadkovic here is coming from the blind side. There's a clear nudge, and despite the protestations of Captain Tony Popovic, I don't think Matthew Breeze had any option but to award the penalty.
Daniel gets the chance to exact revenge from the spot. And Daniel tucks away the spot kick. Wait a minute. We're going to have a retake.
Well, it can only be encroachment, Simon. Surely, otherwise he would have played converted penalty. Perhaps it was Felipe on the top of the screen.
Well, more pressure on the Brazilian. Can he repeat his successful first kick? He does. No problem with that one. Daniel gives the Phoenix the lead, and the man who scored Wellington's first ever Hyundai A-League goal now makes it one for the road as well.
Well, that took quite some doing. Not only because it was a retake, and they always set the nerves racing, But round one against Melbourne Victory, just on half-time, Daniel missed a penalty at home in front of 14,000 at the Cake Tin. And penalties, quite frankly, do not come any better than that.
Smelts with the touch. Gets it back off Aloisi. And Richard Johnson had made a very attacking run down the middle, but wasn't picked out. And Sydney get their chance to counter. Felipe is down on the turf with an injury. Robbie Middleby won't care. In towards Brosk. Couldn't quite try and clear it. And then Brosk off the woodwork. Mistake by Carl Dodd. And Alex Brosk was so close to squaring the ledger. Still the danger not completely averted for the Knicks. And now it's a corner for Sydney FC.
Great stuff, Robbie Middleby. Good change, Branko Colina. Felipe still in the prone position in Sydney FC's half. Got a second bite, did Brosk, on that less than trusty right foot. He got a good piece of it too here. Ricky Herbert just missed a beat in the heart stakes.
Fife in field for Alex Brosk. Popovic just toe ends it forward, really. Middleby trying to get in there. Matthew Breeze had a long look at that. The foot was high. And again, nothing doing. And Zrilic has got a yellow card for his complaints.
Here's the incident. Robbie Middleby probably copped one.
Was the foot high? It was high-ish, wasn't it?
Well, there's no doubt it was high. A penalty situation, well, hugely debatable. You've got to go with the referee. He saw enough to say play on.
And the frown on Branko Colina's face, it's even more thick-set.
Melbourne's meeting with the Central Coast had all the hallmarks to be the match of the round. The reigning champions were still without a win and struggling to regain the form that made them such a dominant force last season. Not so for the Mariners, who made a flawless start, winning 3 from 3. Yet to trouble the score sheet this season, Archie Thompson returned from Socceroo duty to strengthen the Victory attack. He made a line of 3 with Danny Allsop and Carlos Hernandez. Adrian Caceres was given the supply role at left midfield. Lee Broxham replaced Sebastian Ryle at right back. Enjoying the best start in the Mariners' short history, Laurie McKenna was chasing a record 4th straight win. He would have to achieve it without the services of influential striker Nick Merger, who was ruled out with a knee injury. Adam Kwasnik stepped up to join Sasho Petrovski in attack, while Danny Vukovic and Dean Heffernan made a welcome return from international call-ups. Your match callers at the Telstra Dome were Mike Cockrell and Andy Harper.
A toe in there from Muscat. Thompson, lovely ball. But he's isolated. Allsop needs help. It's arriving late. Allsop goes to the byline and the near post. And Vukovic was there for the Mariners.
Danny Allsop, completely outnumbered, but backed himself, dropped the shoulder, took the ball to the byline and fired for the near post. Great stuff, Allsop.
I wonder if his pride has been dented by not getting that late call-up for Australia. Nicky Merger got that honour, of course. Just as I look at that, Kwasnik very, very close. Theoklatos asking some big questions.
Mate, what an exquisite piece of football. Completely intuitive, beautiful technique. A warning sign, a warning shot across the bow of Melbourne Victory.
Hutchinson. The switch from Toniliak has picked out Kwasnik. Invited to shoot Adam Kwasnik. Thought about it. Went for the pass instead. Mariners have it back. Jedinak. What a save from Theoklatos. That was heading into the bottom corner. He is a great goalkeeper at the moment, isn't he?
And I tell you what, this is a great lesson from the Central Coast. They're playing with such patience when they get the ball up to the penalty area, waiting until someone has a good sight at goal. Great example of that, Mila Jedinak. Outstanding save, Theoklatos.
Broxham looks up and has absolutely no movement in front of him. But they've done well to work the wide, find Kemp in space. A buzz around the ground. Kemp, now Brebner. Not a bad bounce. Here's Allsop. Comes inside, Danny Allsop, left foot shot. And Vukovic spread himself well.
Very happy to report that Melbourne are taking a leaf out of Central Coast book. And they did work that break down the left-hand side beautifully. The ball swung back onto the right for Allsop to cut in and test Vukovic. Down to his left, the keeper for the Coast was up to it.
Well, Kwasnik fancies this one. Hutchinson also decent with the dead ball. Kwasnick goes for the top corner and once again has rattled the crossbar. What does he have to do to score a goal?
Twice he's hit the woodwork now. He's looked very dangerous. Beautiful tail. Theoklitos, you don't often say this. He looked well beaten to me. He can jump and touch the crossbar and make it look like he had it covered. But I agree with you, Laurie and Ian.
This game's starting to come to life. Thompson picked out by Leandro Love. Good ball into the centre. Somehow it stayed out.
Well, one of the rare occasions they sprung the back four. Leandro, Nigel Burgard couldn't match it with Thompson somehow. Last year's Golden Boot has missed it completely. And it remains 0-0.
Now Broxham busy in midfield. Encouraged to push forward. Goes past the tired-looking Milo Jedinak. Opens up the room for Matthew Kemp. The ball across the face of goal is a very good one. But once again, it's desperation from the Mariners, which saves the day.
And guess who it was? Tony Vidmar. 450 games of professional experience, nigh on 100 international appearances for the green and gold, and it was all called upon.
And here he is again. Beaten by Thompson. He's dragged him down. Trouble here for Vidmar. Big trouble for Tony Vidmar. He's off. The last man. A clear decision for Mark Shield. The Mariners will have to see it out with 10 men.
Well, I reckon that's a big call from Mark Shield. Quite how, with the ball airborne and two players airborne, Mark Shield can determine that was an unequivocal chance on goal.
He's had a magnificent match, and he'll be terribly anxious now to hear that final whistle.
The final match of the round takes us to Members Equity Stadium in Perth, where the Glory were looking to avoid becoming the only team to produce 4 successive goalless draws at National League level. Their Queensland opponents were also eyeing a contrast in results, having drawn all 3 matches this season. Fans' favourite Jamie Harnwell was handed his first start of the season with a simple message to end the goal drought. He paired Mate Dragicevic up front with Nikita Rukavitsia demoted to the bench. Billy Selesky, Simon Colosimo and Nikolai Topor-Stanley all returned from international commitments to reinforce Ron Smith's 11. Striker Ante Milicic was promoted to the Raw lineup following a thigh injury to Massimo Madoka. He played alongside Simon Lynch up front with Ronaldo dropping back to right midfield. Danny Tiato would play a more prominent role in attack in company with Brazilian Marcinho. Brenton Speed and Ange Postecoglou were at Members Equity Stadium.
Falls for Tiato. Hooked back across towards Reinaldo. Topor-Stanley with the header. Not effective. Danny Tiato. Great save from Tommy Tomic. All the pressure being applied from Queensland in the opening stages.
Super strike by Danny Tiato. Not a great header here by Nikolai Topor-Stanley. Back across his goal and good strike, and it was Dubic who actually reacted first.
Coins clearance, not the best. Through to Milicic. And back to Tiato. Danny Tiato again. Falls for Milicic. Tomic again with a save. Topor-Stanley to the rescue. In between 2 Raw players who would have had an open net to aim at.
Well, Tommy Tomic, thank God for Perth Glory that he has been alert. Another good save off Milicic, and again this time Topor-Stanley reacting well, but Perth Glory slow off the mark so far, and it's been all Queensland Raw.
Sekulovsky. He's got Anthony Danzy. Good ball through. Onside is Harnwell. That's why the fans have been crying out for him to play. He needs less than 14 minutes to break the Glory's drought.
Well, he should celebrate, and he should celebrate with the fans because they've been calling out for him to play, and this is why. Good build-up. They finally kept possession. Perth Glory, good interplay, and he was here with Sekulovsky. Good little ball, and he was just instinctive. Harnwell, half a chance, a half volley, and he gives Liam Reddy no chance. Just pure intensity to get the ball in the back of the net.
Another corner for Queensland. Matty Mackay flicked on. Chance cleared by Norm Sekulovsky, but only as far as Josh McLaughlin. 1-1 at Members Equity Stadium.
The Glory will be disappointed with this. They've got about 5 or 6 players in that lineup who are 6'2", 6'3", and yet they can't get any purchase on this ball at all. Very disappointing defending. McLaughlin was the first one to react. And this crowd has been silenced.
Marcinho's corner. Falls for Tiato. Took an extra touch. Hits the post. Offside flag goes up. Wouldn't have counted the follow-up, but the first one would have from Tiato. Another special strike.
It was unlucky, Danny Tiato. Composed himself here. And a good strike. Tomic didn't even have a chance to dive. Struck the post. Just waiting for the back of the net.
Here's Tiato again. Goes down and the referee does award the free kick. Glory fans unhappy with that one.
Oh, he deserved the free kick. He's worked so hard today, and really, you can't question his commitment, his drive, his enthusiasm.
And it looked to me like that foul occurred right near the touchline, but the referee is going to allow Marcinho to take it from here. Perth bench were furious with that, but they won't be too upset if it winds up creating a goal at the other end. What a chance for Jimmy Downey. Liam Reddy off his line, a heavy touch from the youngster. What a chance for Jimmy Downey to make a name for himself.
The enthusiasm of Jimmy Downey just got a bit too much for him on that.
Rukavica out to Jimmy Downey. Good ball too. Reddy punches. Two Glory players were bursting into the area. Brave punch from Liam Reddy, and now there's a chance at the other end. Marcinho to Matty Mackay. Now to Milicic. Good defending from Dancy, but it fell for Matty Mackay. A poacher's effort. Queensland have come from behind and lead 2-1, just like they did last season.
And the Perth Glory fans have been silenced, and Matty Mackay, credit to him. And as the game has worn on, he's pressed forward and pressed forward. First to react, his right foot. As we know, he's predominantly a left-sided player. He wouldn't have scored many with his right peg. It just fell for him. Good strike. Tommy Tomic couldn't get across. And really well-deserved. Matty Mackay, Danny Tiato in the centre of the park have really instigated most of the play tonight. And they deserve that goal, Queensland Raw.
There's Jimmy Downey. Could so easily have given Perth the lead. Taking on Zulo, two of the youngsters. Well played, Jimmy Downey. Here's Colosimo, the captain. Cutting inside, Simon Colosimo! So very nearly did it, the captain. Terrific strike. Liam Reddy has his post to thank.
He took matters into his own hands. It's been a disappointing night. He wanted to cap it off with the equaliser, and it was only the upright that saved him, and a good run by Jimmy Downey. Nice, positive play. Super strike by the captain.
Is there a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for the team in gold? Super Mario Jardel got more goals than games in Portugal. Can the Golden Boot rediscover the Golden Touch as he prepares to make his long-awaited debut for the Jets? Hello and welcome to Energy Australia Stadium. Once again, we're dancing to the samba beat. 4 Brazilians on the team sheets as Newcastle Jets host Adelaide United. The home team hoping for back-to-back wins. The visitors hoping for a win. Full stop. Another good crowd in here at the Energy Australia Stadium, including that contingent of Adelaide United fans. The Jets, of course, second in the table, 4 points behind their arch-rivals, the Central Coast Mariners. Adelaide in third place, 2 points further adrift. It's been a bright start to the season for the Jets, although their results have probably exceeded their form. Gary Van Egmond looking for an improved effort here tonight in front of their own fans against a team which has proved to be a bit of a bogey side for the Jets over the first couple of seasons of the Hyundai A-League. Adelaide will wear white tonight. Their captain is Paul Agostino. The Jets in gold. Their skipper, who leads them out, is of course Jade North. Something of a new look Adelaide United side here tonight. Andy Harper, we know they're a squad with plenty of goals in them, but Aurelio Vidmar forced into a couple of reshuffles. Of course, Nathan Bird's, I guess, the biggest name missing on form.
He's a huge loss, Nathan Burns. His first 3 rounds were very, very impressive. Bruce Jatay back, his partner in crime from the Olyroos, and in tandem they've been causing opposition defences a whole heap of grief early on in this A-League season. And just on Nathan Burns' injury, we learnt before the game that he picked up that thigh strain early on in the match against Sydney, and 2 full games of football later he's decided that he really should get it looked at. There's plenty of steel in that young player, as well as plenty of technique and quality.
And just an update on Burns. It's only going to be a week out of the game, according to Aurelio Vidmar. There were suggestions it might be 4 to 6 weeks, laughed off by his coach. So they're hoping he'll be back in harness next weekend. Such an exciting young talent. Well, Adelaide will feel confident going into this game. They won on 2 of their 3 previous visits to Energy Australia Stadium. They have a great head-to-head record against the Jets. They've only lost 2 from 7. And of course, the result which really irks the Jets fans most of all came in that preliminary final last year, where they were knocked out of the grand final on penalties down there at Hindmarsh Stadium. So a bit of revenge in the air here in Newcastle. It's Adelaide with the first free kick of the match. Sarkis to deliver. Good delivery as well. Flat delivery. Almost found Bruce Jatay. Some scrambling defence from the Jets. North flipping it down the line towards Joel Griffiths. And that's been left by North. Something of a mistake. Jatay's in quickly, but Adam Griffiths got lucky. Denny backed off him, slides it in, and Griffiths time to run. He thought well enough, but the flag was up.
Well, Joel Griffiths already looking menacing. He's working that line so magnificently this season. This is a touch and go one. I think the assistants just got it right, although I have to say there should be some benefit of the doubt in that. How the assistant can be in absolutely no doubt that that wasn't timed well enough. Newcastle perhaps can consider themselves a little unlucky. Good sign for Denny early. His first game here a couple of weeks ago really warmed the hearts of the faithful, and that will encourage more support from the Newcastle fans.
Capuzzo. Bridge rides the first challenge. And the shot from Bridge had the power and the direction. Four on the wall for the Jets. It's going to be Sarkis though. Going for precision rather than power, Christian Sarkis. Here we go again. Sarkis with the delivery. Free-header Costanzo flashes wide of the post. They're butchering these set-piece opportunities.
Angelo Costanzo has not scored a lot of goals in his career, and this is why. On a plate, perfect free kick. Had space, had the leap, knew where the goal was, missed it. Shocking marking in the centre of defence there from Newcastle United as well.
Well, when you say not a lot of goals, in fact, he hasn't scored a goal in the A-League. Today is his 50th appearance in the Hyundai A-League. No goals to show for it. I think he scored 1 in the old NSL in something like 250 games.
Well, I was raking back through his entire professional career. He'd like to say that his setup teammates are made other people feel very good about scoring goals. That'd be Ange's line. He's got cramps, Mike. 50 minutes into a game, he's got cramps.
Shot on target, the save from Bajic. It was Matty Thompson muscling his way through from that left-hand side of the field. Bridge. There were a lot of eyebrows raised when Jade North got that armband, and he was certainly rising to the occasion. Bridge with a shot. Stings the gloves of Bajic. That's 2 shots on target now for Newcastle, and that's encouraging.
It is, but he turned away from his support. Jay Hoffman was burning down the left-hand side. I thought Bridge might have been able to release him and keep Adelaide backpedaling. It was a good side of goal, nevertheless. A good break. Wonderful pass out of defence from Matt Thompson.
He's just turned that over very carelessly, Richie Elliott. Can Joel Griffiths make him pay? Squares it up, wheelhouse. . 2 Listen to the roar now. Super Mario Jardel on the sideline, about to come on for the Jets. He's played in the biggest stadiums in the world for some of the biggest teams. He's like a man reborn. He's a caged lion. He wants to get out there. The fans want to see what he's got, and now they're about to see what the fuss is all about. Big man, big player, big reputation. And here's his chance.
Jay Hoffman makes way, and from this point on for Newcastle, it's about delivery into the box. The fans have been waiting for this moment. And if he gets one decent cross to feed off, expect him to devour it. Although the portents in that facet of the game haven't been promising.
Elrich. Feed the man some meat. That's all he wants. Mario Jardel. Gite. Well, at the very least, Jardel has fired up the crowd. Spaniolo gets it from Walsh. There he is, Diego Walsh. 13 Brazilians in the Hyundai A-League this season. 3 of them on the park at the moment. And here's a chance now for Adelaide. It's 9 corners to 0. That usually means a goal. Walsh with the corner. Contact was decent from Paul Agostino.
Yeesh. Yeah, Paul, you know it. The Bundesliga, you've buried them. You don't need reminding. Nice trajectory from Diego. Great side of the ball, just got his bearings wrong. Paul Agostino would have broken the duck. What a time to do it.
10 minutes left for someone who wants to win this game to stake a claim. Surely Adelaide won't be happy with yet another draw. Newcastle at home. The draw may be enough to keep them in second spot. But you can hardly argue that their form has been that of a title contender. Here's Wheelhouse. What's he got up his sleeve? Griffiths, now Bridge. Mark Bridge takes on Elegance. The shot from Bridge, finally! He's broken the deadlock. Mark Bridge! And the Jets in front at home.
Well, just when you thought it would never come, it was the man who should have been doing it most of the game. Mark Bridge scored a peach during the week for the Olympic Games team, the Olyroos in Gosford. Well done, Joe Wheelhouse. A predictable outlet through Joel Griffiths. He's been wonderful tonight in a poor game. And Richie Alagich, well, if he wasn't expecting Mark Bridge to jink into his right foot, he's been watching the wrong league for the last 2 years. Why don't you telegraph it, Mark, and smash it home through the near post?
Robbie Bayage beaten at his near post. A lifeline for the Jets. Delight for the players. None more so than big Super Mario Jardel. And for the fans here who have been waiting and waiting and waiting, well, they've finally got something to cheer about. The Jets leading, less than 10 on the clock. Are they on their way to their second win of the season?
Well, if they are, they can thank North and Griffiths at the back. Joel Griffiths has been the only likely contender in attack for Newcastle. And Mark Bridge, this wonderful young talent, with a decisive moment perhaps on 81 minutes. And I'll tell you one place you don't want to be chasing the game. It's Energy Australia Stadium in Newcastle. You wait for the crowd to come into this now.
Here he is, the goal scorer, away in acres and acres of space. They're slow to react, Adelaide. Griffiths is the target. It's cleared his head. Still with the Jets. Gets the better of Costanzo. Wins the corner, their first of the game.
Excellent play, Joel Griffiths. Excellent play, Joel Griffiths.
Alagic. Long for Agostino. He's been good in the air, Adam Griffiths. Here's Jardel. Gets away from Costanzo.
He just earned his money.
He just earned his Dolaris.
That's enough.
That's enough, big fella.
Have a breather, Murray. Have a breather. He's struggling, isn't he? Honestly, he's finding these 30-metre shuttles across the field chasing the Adelaide defenders a little difficult. But a little glimpse there. He's now the crowd favourite. Of course, his substitution caused the goal for Newcastle. This is quite exquisite, actually.
It's a bridge over troubled water for the Newcastle Jets. They've been under the pump for long periods of this game, but they've come up trumps. Mark Bridge with the late winner for the home team here at the Energy Australia Stadium. They stay in the hunt as Adelaide United succumb to their first defeat of the season. What a precious goal that will turn out to be. The full-time score at the Energy Australia Stadium, Newcastle Jets 1, Adelaide United 0.
Well, a poor game. It's given the home fans plenty to go home happy about. Mark Bridge with a well-executed goal. In the final analysis, Constantine's man, Mario Jardel, was finally exhibited to the home faithful. And here's the moment that won the match. And it was Joe Wheelhouse with the first penetration from the wide right-hand side into midfield. Jason Spagnuolo sold himself cheaply in the defensive department. Joel Griffiths peeled wide of Jonas Sally. That was too good. Richie Alagic, in my opinion, an experienced defender, should have done far better than he did. And Ante Kovic, Robbie Bajic rather, beaten at the near post. 3 points, Kira, that goal for Newcastle. Poor defending there, point number 1 from Jason Spagnuolo. Good endeavour from Joe Wheelhouse. Poor defending there from Jonas Sally, beaten too easily. And in the final analysis, poor defending from Richie Alagic. Good shot, poor keeping at the near post. 1-0, 3 points, Newcastle Jets. They sail higher up the ladder.
The sucker punch for Adelaide United. Disappointment for Aurelio Vidmar and his team. Delight, sheer delight for Mark Bridge, the goal scorer. He's down on the park with David Lowe.
Thanks, Mike. I'm just watching the replay of Bridges' goal with him here. Sometimes, Mark, it's not how, it's how many, and terrific finish for you. How sweet it is.
Yeah. I've been in a bit of a drought, but went away with the Aussie team this week. Played well down there, got 2 wins, scored a goal down there, and scored a goal here. Couldn't ask for a better week.
Fantastic week for you personally. Difficult night for the team tonight. Gritted it out and come up with 3 very important points.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the prettiest of games, but credit to the boys. We grinded out. Our defensive, I thought, was brilliant. We pressured really well. I mean, getting into the front third a bit, we're a bit indecisive and make silly mistakes. But no, it's a good win.
Congratulations to you and to all the boys, and good luck next week.
Thanks, mate.
Well, pretty honest there, Mark Bridge, the goal scorer for Newcastle. Wasn't vintage Jets by any means tonight, but their second game or home game of the season has resulted in all 3 points, which gives them 6 points now from their 4 games and keeps them close on the heels of the early league leaders, the Central Coast Mariners. These are the stats from the match. 56% of the possession in the end in favour of the home team, though 54% of the time in the opposition half was for the visitors. 12 corners in the game, 3 offsides in the match. That foul count crept up to 32. 3 yellow cards from the top pocket of the referee, Angelo Nardi. The attack stats, 9 shots from the Jets, 12 from Adelaide, 34 balls into the box, almost twice as many as Newcastle Jets, but no goals to show for it. 4 of those shots on target for Newcastle. The one that counted came from Mark Bridge, and 3 saves apiece from Robbie Bajic and Ante Kovic. Well, after this game, this is the table, and that's how good it looks for the Newcastle Jets. 8 points, just 1 behind the Central Coast Mariners with a +2 goal difference. Adelaide United dropped to 4th place with a couple more matches, of course, on their way tomorrow. The first defeat of the season for the Reds. That will disappoint them. But it's looking pretty good for Newcastle, who have been, it must be said, not in great form after 4 rounds, but the results have gone their way.
After arriving with much fanfare before being forced to sit on the sideline while visa problems were sorted out, the A-League finally got to see Mario Jardel in action last night in Newcastle. He was upstaged somewhat though by teammate Mark Bridge, who scored the Jets winner. Known as Super Mario in his heyday, the Newcastle Jets have gambled on there being some life left in this 2-time European Golden Boot winner. Despite being cleared to play though, the Brazilian didn't start against Adelaide last night. Even when countryman Danny was replaced before the break, Jardel remained on the bench, leaving everyone wondering just when he would come on.
Will we see Mario Jardel in the second half? Mario will definitely make an appearance.
He was getting cheers just warming up. And finally, after 70 minutes, the fans got their wish as Jardel hit the pitch.
Big man, big player, big reputation.
He barely got a touch before Mark Bridge made the one that counted.
It's the shot from Bridge, finally, he's broken the deadlock.
After scoring a similar goal for the Olyroos midweek, Adelaide really should have seen it coming.
Why don't you telegraph it, Mark?
Offering a small touch of class in his brief appearance, fitness remains an issue for Jardel. The 1-0 result, though, pleasing everyone, as Newcastle remain second and still to be beaten this season. To the A-League, and Newcastle was still wondering today how Premiers Melbourne got back into the game last night. Leading 2-0 midway through the first half, Melbourne struck back late to earn a draw when nothing but a Jets victory looked likely. Don't try and tell Newcastle that football can be a funny game. There were few laughs at today's recovery session.
It actually felt like a loss in the end. We played some good football throughout the game and we sort of stopped and they got us.
Griffiths got the ball rolling after just 4 minutes against Melbourne with his first goal of the season.
This man has been a great signing for Newcastle.
The Jets are trying to keep Stu Michalek here for as long as they can, but you know, bigger things beckon for this guy.
That's a wonderful goal by Stuart Michalek!
A rare strike from the midfielder which even knocked him off his feet. Hardly an embarrassing miss for victory keeper Jason Theoklitos, but taking out a teammate left egg on his face.
Oh, that's a boiled egg.
Newcastle's line was hardly threatened before Archie Thompson bobbed up.
Great goal by...
The Jets had their chances to regain the 2-goal margin. And while Mario Jardel saw time once again, it was Melbourne sub Adrian Caceres who earned his cash.
It's 2-2! Incredible!
And that's how it stayed. Joel Griffith's night ending with injury on top of insult, but with little sympathy today.
Got a couple of little taps from Muscat and now he stays at home. Now he doesn't even come down for a swim.
All eyes were on Phoenix skipper Ross Aloisi as the resolute midfielder came face to face with his former Adelaide United teammates. After seeing off Sydney to claim their first competition win last round, Wellington were out to deny the Reds victory, something that had eluded them all season. Felipe would again be pivotal in attack after the Brazilian strike against Sydney was earmarked as a contender for goal of the season. He again partnered Kiwi international Shane Smeltz up front. Coach Ricky Herbert fielded an unchanged 11 in his bid to steer the Phoenix into the top half of the table. With 2 goals to his name this season, Nathan Burns returned from injury to assist Adelaide's bid for maximum points. He was paired with Olyroos teammate Bruce Jitte in attack. Christian Saki's moved to left midfield, while Diego was promoted into the heart of the Adelaide 11 alongside Jonas Sally. Your commentary team at Westpac Stadium was Fred de Jong and Harry Nata.
It's nice work from Adelaide. Good one-touch football into the back post. The header. And Moss saves at the near post.
It was Christian Saki's on the left-hand side. see Moss coming. Shall I go? He did well just to stay on his line, deflect that shot onto the post.
Sarkis delivers. Moss comes, doesn't get it. Ball not cleared. It's on, and it finally bounces over the goal. Well, Moss came, got nothing on the ball.
Yeah, fortunate for Glenn Moss here. The ball spun off the ground and over the crossbar. You see there, neither players could be able to get a touch on the ball.
Here's Diego. Kessio outside him. Diego lines up a shot. Diego off the post. Kessio, Chite with the overhead.
Yeah, we see Diego here just totally sell Ross Aloisi one way. And Glenn Moss was very grateful his post stood its ground.
Ooh. So Smeltz goes wide to Christie. Christie looks to deliver. And Smeltz with the header over the top. It's Felipe. And Smeltz. Well, the ball came from Christie. Was sent to the back post. And the header looping over Robert Bajic puts the Phoenix 1-0 up.
It looked like a harmless cross, didn't it? Looped to the far post. And it was the smallest man on the park, Felipe. Felt just eluding the two defenders, just falling in between them, a looping header.
Sarkis, middle of the goal, chance off the post, and the ball's in. The second bite, Diego with the header.
Ball coming in from the left-hand side corner here. Chite out with the first attempt off the post. Then Diego, I think it was, to hit it home. You see Ferrante on the post, just able to watch the ball hit the post and off onto Diego's head. Great leap by Chite.
Corner to the Phoenix. Looped over Bajic's head. This time cleared off the line. Richard Johnson going spare at the assistant referee on this side. Just pleading for him to put up his flag to say it was over.
Saw a lot tonight, players coming in off the park. And that one, I think again, it was Felipe possibly.
Nathan Burns clearing off the line.
Great corner from Felipe. It was Shane Smeltz that got the touch. Aloisi there as well, pleading to the referee's assistant.
So Adelaide looking for a winner here. Ball in Chite, nice strength from Chite. That's a terrific goal. Make no mistake, that's terrific strength from the youngster.
Great work here from Nathan Burns, I think it was. Holding off the challenge of Dior. Being able to get a shot on the turn. Look at the strength there. I think it was, might have even been Richard Johnson he was holding off.
Smeltz goes wide.
Great cross. Bajic came, missed the ball. He actually came off Smeltz's head. I think it was Lockhead with the cross. You see Palladini coming in there. Bajic missing it altogether. Vaughan Coveney says thank you very much. Oh, Shane Smeltz, beg your pardon.
Crowd on their feet round the stadium. Coveney lurking on the edge of the box is going to Coveney. Coveney! Smeltz! It was a difficult angle, but when he sees that again, I think he'll be a bit disappointed.
Great header from Vaughan Coveney. You see the sort of thing you can do. It can change a game. Past Bajic, sort of sided goal.
And the 3 points.
Enduring their most turbulent period since the Hyundai A-League began, Sydney travelled to Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane, firmly anchored to the bottom of the ladder. The club was looking to break its longest streak without a win against a Queensland side steadily growing in confidence. Averaging more than 5 shots a game this season, Marcinho was looking to notch his first goal of the campaign. The crafty midfielder played behind the strike pairing of Ante Milicic and Simon Lynch. Fellow countryman Ronaldo started on the right side of a 3-man midfield beside Danny Teatto and Matt Mackay. With Tony Popovich absent through injury, Mark Milligan wore the captain's armband for the first time. He dropped back into a central defensive role next to Mark Rudin. Adam Casey was promoted to right back, while Brendan Santalab earned a rare start in attack alongside Alex Brosk and Steve Corica. Mike Cockrell and Andy Harper called the action from Suncorp Stadium.
Mackay goes deep. Craig Moore, feet off the line. Bolton with the save. They've lived dangerously and survived Sydney FC.
Well, firstly it was Rudin, then it was Bolton. Great header from Craig Moore. Adam Casey it was, excuse me. Hinaldo the first to react. Bolton was just as quick. He's been shaky up till now, the Sydney custodian, but he's just repaid the faith of coach Branko Kalina. You tend to think this is the point that Frank Farina wanted this game to come to. An hour in, all the preparation physically to get to this point of the hour mark, to see if they can then physically turn the screws on Sydney FC.
Madoka squares it up. Lynch, what a tackle. What an interception. Mark Rudin, massive for Sydney.
And not the barest hint of hyperbole there, Mike. Brilliant stuff from Rudin.
Docker has it for Queensland. Now Tiato. Good ball clipped into space. Marcinho looks up, sees Hinaldo in the middle, gets a good ball in. Hinaldo, what a save from Bolton. Top shelf. Miracle save from Clint Bolton. Sydney stay alive. A shake of the head from Hinaldo. He cannot believe it.
When champions are on the ropes, the champions rise. Look at that from Bolton. What a cross from Marcinho. A beautiful header from Hinaldo. And what a save from Bolton.
Zadkovic. Good work from Zadkovic. Slides it through. Corica. Patrick is square. Super sub Patrick has put Sydney in front. Branko Kalina take a bow.
Indeed. Patrick just on the field. Not a moment ago. Look at that from Zadkovic. Corica with the square ball. Patrick with the Terry tap in. And a snatch and grab is looming. Beautiful from Zadkovic, beautiful from Corica, emphatic from Patrick.
Frank Farina can only ponder. Corica. Thumping header there from Mark Rudin. No one picked up the late run. That could have been the clincher.
Beautifully flighted free kick. What a leap from Rudin, unchallenged as he was. Ready, beaten. But so was the crossbar. Well, if Queensland don't get something out of this game, I reckon they'll be wanting to dig up the goal areas, see if there are bones buried there or something.
8 minutes until the end of this round 5 match. 8 minutes between Sydney and their first victory of the season. Mackay, Lynch. Ognjanowski! Save from Bolton!
Unbelievable, honestly.
Almost a super sub at the other end. We saw Patrick score for Sydney. Ognjanowski coming very, very close to Queensland. Clint Bolton, another massive save.
What do they have to do?
Corner, Mackay. Moore. 2 Queensland players going for the same ball. Marcinho! Blocked by McFlynn.
That's great stuff. This is fantastic stuff. What about the guts in this orange shirt? Well, that left hand is Clint Bolton. What a return to form. The boy from Bundaberg.
The final match of the round takes us to Blue Tongue Stadium in Gosford, where the Central Coast Mariners were aiming to extend their clean sheet tally to 5 straight. The league's pacesetters welcomed cellar dwellers Perth, who in 3 visits had failed to record victory at this venue. With 240 National League goals to his name, Damien Murray was signed as short-term cover for the injured Nick Merger. The veteran striker joined Sasho Petrovski, who passed a late fitness test on his troublesome ankle. Adam Kwasnick shifted to right midfield, while Andrew Clark came into the back 4 for the suspended Tony Vidmar. With the Glory netting a solitary goal all season, James Robinson was promoted to the Perth attack to provide some much-needed spark. He was one of 4 changes to Ron Smith's 11. David Masevsky earned his first start in a 3-man midfield along with Mitchell Prentice, while Jordan Simpson was handed the playmaker role behind the 2 strikers. Mike Cockrell and Andy Harper were at Blue Tongue Stadium.
Such height in this Glory side. And it's Jordan Simpson who's butchered an open goal. That should have been the first goal of the game.
Well, it would have capped off a great start for Perth. A beautiful free kick from Prentice. I just reckon you've got to stoop, dive and head those balls. At full stretch, volleying is a very difficult technique to implement, and Jordan Simpson, he should have been parallel to the turf and thrashing that ball with his forehead. It should be 1-0.
Petrovski turns one way and then the other and then the other again, squares it up. The chance goes begging. It was Damien Murray inside the 6-yard box. It came at him a bit quick, to be fair, but there was the headline.
Beautiful work from Sash Petrovski. Lisa Devana-esque. He left Simon Colosimo on his derriere, squared the ball beautifully for Damien Murray, who'll probably blame the sun for that one.
Kwasnik gets the bounce of the ball. Kwasnik goes for goal, took a wicked deflection. Tomic, splendid save. Difficult save for the big man. So close to his body. He's done well. A noticeable lift in enthusiasm in the first few minutes of this second half. Petrovski with a shot. Tomic down low to his right makes the save. Another sign of a Mariners revival.
He made that look quite easy, Tomic. Easier than in fact it was. Made space brilliantly, did Petrovski, and as against Sydney FC, he went for the curler with the left foot, but Tomic was awake and ready, and he just parried the ball around the post. Kept his team in the game. Petrovski looking lively early in the second half.
Brown, the heat being applied, the blowtorch being applied by the Central Coast. Petrovski, plenty of venom, but not the direction. He's edging closer.
Sasho Petrovski, when he's in this type of mood, he can score from anywhere and win games for his team. And it's been a very, very bright start to the second half.
One goal so far in the yellow and blue for Sash Petrovski, plenty for Sydney FC. A nutmeg from Topor Stanley. Time for the cross, needs a good one. Hasn't been properly cleared. Unwell looks for support, he gets some from Maseski, who chips it towards Dragicevic. Almost an immediate impact, hasn't been cleared yet. Now it has. Well, Dragicevic very, very close.
Beautiful ball over the top. At last, Dragicevic has given us an indication of what he can do. We've been expecting a lot more, and if we get more of that, there'll be some pretty happy Perth Glory fans.
Robinson, good intuition. Simpson in the clear. He should have advanced into the open space, Tyler Simpson. It was an open invitation from the Mariners. Kwasnik. And that's a trip there. Accidental, I would suggest, from Masevski. That's the way the referee saw it. Free kick quickly taken. Petrovski. Wide is Gumprek. 3 yellow shirts in the middle. Petrovski, surely. He's buried it. Sash Petrovski finally breaks the deadlock here at Blue Tongue. And aren't the fans delighted?
Well, it was always going to be Sasho Petrovski who raised the roof here at Blue Tongue Stadium. The quick free kick on halfway. Heffernan released it. Half a chance to win it there. Djurbic couldn't do it. Gumprek to the near post. Finally, some execution in front of goal. And Ron Smith will be spewing, because a minute earlier, Tyler Simpson should have put the game in Perth's keeping, but a limp cross to the centre of defence for the Central Coast, who swept upfield, and they've got the goal when Perth should be in front.
The Jets are fair bets for the top 4 for sure. One more win would enable them to go top of the table. After 8 points from 4, and yet Dutchie would still like more. Victory would just love a victory, but defending champions always have to earn their wins. It's the Newcastle Jets against Melbourne Victory. Yes, they've come in numbers again at Energy Australia to see if the Jets can go top of the ladder for the first time in A-League history. Melbourne, of course, well, they'll want revenge for that 4-0 thrashing they suffered here at the end of last season. Hello again, and welcome to the Hunter in northern New South Wales for a match that last season arguably produced some of the highest quality football in the entire Hyundai A-League. This time around, there's no Carl, there's no Ocon, no Milton Rodriguez, and no Fred, but that shouldn't be a hindrance to what's sure to be another fascinating night as the Jets take on the Victory. And here come the two teams. Matthew Breeze, the referee tonight. Melbourne in their all-change strip of grey today, and the Jets on the left in gold. check on the two-team lineups. Both are playing 4-3-3. 2 changes for Gary Van Egmond. Joe Wheelhouse failed a fitness test on an injury earlier on today. Out 2 goes Jason Hoffman up front. Back in come Andy Durante into a back 4, and Troy Hearfield plays as part of a front 3. There's a reprieve in midfield for Denny, who was more than likely going to start on the bench had Wheelhouse been fit. 2 changes too for Ernie Merrick. His patience has finally run thin, it seems, with Carlos Hernandez, who starts on the bench. Danny Alsop, of course, is injured with a rib problem sustained last weekend. Steve Pantelides, Mr. Versatility, will play at left fullback. Joe Keenan on the left side of midfield. Lee Broxham is part of a front 3 that also includes Leandro Love and Archie Thompson. The final handshakes and backslaps. The Jets, of course, looking to go top of the Hyundai A-League for the first time in their history. What a turnaround it's been under Gary Van Egmond, and there's their talisman, at least up front. Mark Bridge, top scorer last season. He'll want to get on the mark again tonight against the champions. 2 goals by Bridge helped the Jets to a 4-0 win in this fixture at the back end of last season. Melbourne out for revenge. More of the same, I'm sure, would do for the Jets. It's the Jets in the gold shirts kicking from right to left. Melbourne in all grey. And here's an early touch for Denny. Man wearing number 10, vacated by Nick Carl. That was the Melbourne number 10, Archie Thompson. Now Leandro Love. Infield looking for Kevin Muscat, just had it taken off his toe. And Matty Thompson will tidy up for the Jets.
And we talked about it in the pre-game show, the importance of the midfield battle. Kevin Muscat, Michalek in there, of course, and Denny waiting big things from him. Sure to be a real battle with Kevin Muscat. Kevin Muscat's had a go during the week at a lot of the diving going on. I'm sure that's aimed at a lot of the Brazilians who've come to the league. He also had Hearfield pulling off onto the back post.
North and Durante up from the back for the corner. This is Durante, nobody marking him, and then pumped home by Adam Griffiths. Dreadful marking by Melbourne Victory, and the Newcastle Jets are in front already.
Was dreadful marking from Melbourne Victory. First, Durante was completely unmarked as the corner came in. He miscontrolled it. See here, the ball arrives, he miscontrolled, still got time to head it in. And then Adam Griffiths just runs off Leandro Love, and really a side foot volley into the back of the net. What a great start for the Newcastle Jets. This man has been a great signing for Newcastle, Adam Griffiths.
Well, I think he should have claimed that goal in New Zealand against Wellington Phoenix. Matthew Thompson claimed it, but he won't take that one away from Adam Griffiths. What a start for the Jets, and what on earth was going on at the back for the Victory? They were playing statues.
Well, it was twice. They were very static as the ball come in. Andrew Durante could even afford a poor touch. Ball looped into the air, he just nodded it on. Adam Griffiths just pulled off Leandro Love, who was like a statue, as you said, Simon. Volleyed into a... certainly not an empty net, but it was... certainly very, very close in the 6-yard box. Pretty easy chance, put away.
Well, a win and a draw from their first 2 home games of the season, the Newcastle Jets, and already they're in the ascendancy again.
Well, that's what happens when we talked about Newcastle not playing that well, but still winning, and that breeds confidence. They've certainly started this game very confidently.
What did Gary Van Egmond say this week? He wanted them fast out of the blocks. That's exactly what they've done. Been very aggressive right from the off. Here's the goal scorer. In fact, the 2 Griffiths have been fabulous so far this season for the Jets. Here's the other one, Joel. Slides it to Andy Durante. In towards Hearfield. Used his body strength well. Troy Hearfield with the blast, takes a deflection, and only just goes the wrong side of the post so far as Theoklatos is concerned. Newcastle are really got a head of steam here.
Well, that deflection had Theoklatos scrambling across his goal line. Here's the strike from Herefield. Big deflection off Steve Pantelides. If that was on target, I'm not so sure if Theoklatos would have got to it. Exactly the same side, this corner, from where they just opened the scoring from just moments before.
Well, can Melbourne defend it a bit better? They can. Vargas away, met by Denny on the full. Partially cleared by Pantelides. Thompson couldn't get there, appeals for handball. Play on, in towards Joel Griffiths. Great stop by Michael Theoklatos. Wonderful action again in the Melbourne final third, and the victory at the moment are hanging on for dear life.
A big risk of being smothered here in the opening 10 minutes. Great chance for Joel Griffiths. Pretty good connection, but that's a fantastic save from Theoklatos.
Well, they've just been blown away, Melbourne, by Newcastle's start. What do they have in response? Slid through by Keenan. That's a decent ball too, but Ante Kovic, in his first real serious work of the game, makes sure it counts. It's a Love that's not quite blossomed, you could say. Here is Leandro Love, though, and that was a good opportunity too.
Oh, that's a poor finish. As he broke into the box there, you're just saying, go on, drill it.
Keenan did well there. Good chest down too by Broxham. Now they'll look for the run of Archie Thompson, who's in behind. Thompson with the shot. No real power on it. But again, another half chance for the victory.
Yeah, great run from Archie Thompson in behind. Just ghosted behind Jade North. Just can't get the power and the shot he needs. In fact, it took a pretty big deflection.
Well, the shot count has now been levelled up, 6 apiece. That's a great effort! That's a wonderful goal by Stuart Michalek! What a beauty! The Jets 2 up.
What a wonderful strike from Michalek. Outside of the right foot. Beautiful technique. What a strike. Theoklatos, no chance. Fully stretched to his right-hand side. The push forward again. Michalek just goes in there, no pressure on him, outside of the right foot. If that was a Brazilian, he'd be showing it over and over again. Look at Michalek, he picks up the ball here, 10 metres in to Melbourne's half. No one closes him down. Bang, outside of the foot, pick that one out.
It's only his third goal in the Hyundai A-League, but it could be a real crucial one for the Jets. They've doubled their money against the champions. Are we set for another 4-0 thumping?
Well, you can't. People get that close to the edge of the 18-yard box without closing him down. No one putting pressure on Michalek. Picked up the ball, he just kept going and going. But I tell you what, he still had a bit to do, didn't he?
Now, Brandner wanted a foul there. Sorry, Robbie. And he didn't get it, and Melbourne had committed forward. 4 against 4 for a minute. Denny up against Muscat. And Muscat is penalised. And nobody will be feeling this more than Kevin Muscat.
Oh, he's absolutely filthy.
It's all gone horribly wrong for Melbourne victory inside the opening 25 minutes. Not just talking about the injury. Now, Matty Thompson away on the left. Cross comes Kemp. Too late to prevent the cross, and Joel Griffiths climbed well. And again, it's good, positive, aggressive play from the Jets. Well, Mario Jardel just exchanging a joke or two with somebody on the touchline. Now, chance for Joel Griffiths to make it perhaps 3-0. And it's over the top from Piakovsky. Another corner, Jets.
Well, the movement of Joel Griffiths, Herefield and Mark Bridge causing them all sorts of problems. In fact, it's the movement of all the Newcastle players. Matthew Kemp just does enough to put off Joel Griffiths as he's looking to strike that ball.
I'm sure Ernie Merrick will be thoroughly dissatisfied with what he's seen. This is Adam Dapuzzo. Play on, says Matthew Breeze. Good decision. Far post, real chance again. Nobody picking up for Melbourne. Defensively, they are all over the shop.
Oh, what a chance at the back post. Teddy's problems last season. In good form. That's a terrible tackle from Pantelides. Must be very lucky to escape without a yellow card here. Joel Griffiths, I was just complimenting him. He's calmed down, but he's reacted to that. But to be fair to Joel Griffiths, it was completely a tackle from behind.
Yep, he did well to keep his temper there, actually, Joel Griffiths.
Look at this, there's no chance he can win the ball there. It's clearly a yellow card. He's not going to get one. For my money, he's very, very lucky.
Especially as he gave Andy Durante a slap across the chops as well for good measure.
Same can't be said for Melbourne.
Oh, mistake here. And, well, in fact, in the end, Adam Griffiths was adjudged to have been fouled by Archie Thompson. But just for a second, it opened it up for Ernie Merrick's side. Well, that'll do, says Matthew Breeze, as we watch again that footage of Thompson and Adam Griffiths clashing. It's been all Newcastle in the first half. Adam Griffiths setting them on their way after 4 minutes. Stuart New-Charlotte with a real belter after 21 minutes. Half chances and nothing more for Melbourne, who've been really a pale shadow of the team that won the title last season. At the break at Energy Australia Stadium, it's the Newcastle Jets leading Melbourne victory by 2-0. And we're all set for the second period. Well, we've had a change for Melbourne, as we expected. Perhaps not the expected man to come off. Joe Keenan been replaced by Carlos Hernandez. What do you make of that change, Robbie Slater?
Oh, very surprising. I thought Keenan was their best player in the first half. Well, certainly one of them that looked like he might get something.
Maybe an injury?
Well, you'd have to think so.
Well, it's a long way back for Melbourne victory. The old adage is that 2-0 is always a precarious scoreline. Use whatever cliches you want. The fact is, Melbourne just weren't good enough that first 45. Andy Merrick will expect things to change. Carlos Hernandez is certainly capable of making them change. Perhaps he's going to have a big 45 minutes. He's certainly due one. That Gary Van Egmond was pretty happy with Denny's first 45 minutes. I think he's certainly shown us a lot more than he has done so far in a Newcastle jersey in that opening stanza. Now, here's Thompson. Melbourne would love an early goal at the start of the second period.
That's good defending there from Jade North. Shape to shoot. It's very ordinary from Steve Pantelides there. Really, there's no form there to cross that ball.
Well, not the first time that Ernie Merrick has pulled a left-sided defensive-minded player at half-time. As that shot stings the palms of Theoklitos from Bridge.
That's a great strike, isn't it, from Mark Bridge. Hits this with some venom. And luckily for Theoklitos, it's straight at him. Good touch. Skips around. Hits that. Theoklitos just gets a hand to it and palms it over.
He's moving a bit in the air too. 5 corners to zip. The Jets lead in that particular statistic. If they get a third, it's surely good night Vienna.
It's really hard to see at the moment where it's going to come from for Melbourne.
Griffiths, beautifully done. Denny.
Oh, I'm not sure if that's the best option. Gets him behind. Kevin Muscat tracking back. He slid that one across the face of goal. Herefield was coming in at the near post. Great play again from the Sharks. Been excellent in the midfield, as has Joel Griffiths, who finds Denny. Well, maybe he has got a right to have a shot from there, but completely mishit it in all honesty.
The Putso's lost out just momentarily. Joel Griffiths, who else? Back there to help him out. He gets through an awful lot of work, doesn't he, Joel Griffiths? Offensively, defensively, he's everywhere. Broxham. Leandro Love. It's not a bad ball, it's a great header, it's a great goal by Archie Thompson. He's been quiet as a mouse all night. All he needs is a sniff, and Ernie Merrick's team are back in it at 2-1.
Well, they're back in it. They haven't looked likely, but for once they work the ball wide. Leandro Love, it's a decent ball in. He just gets in behind Jade North, who really gets caught facing the ball. Allows Archie Thompson to just get in behind him. That's a good header. Kovic stranded, no chance for him. And Melbourne are back in this game. Really, they haven't looked likely.
Well, now it's perhaps a bit of a test of character for Newcastle, after having been so dominant. That's what you get with a striker of the quality of Archie Thompson. He can do nothing all game and then bang. Now, Griffiths. Newcastle's pride stung perhaps as much as anything else. In by Harefield. And there's a bit of a spring in the step of the victory all of a sudden. If the scoreline remains as it is. Now Thompson. Good cross in. Joel Griffiths leaps high. And just couldn't get it on target.
I just couldn't get the direction he needed. Great play from Thompson down the left-hand side. Backs himself, a right-footed player, backs himself on his left. That's a great cross in. And he got in between the two defenders, Piakowski and Vargas, Joel Griffiths. And he's disappointed he didn't at least make the keeper make a save.
Now, Piakowski has been robbed. Real chance for the Jets to seal it here. Joel Griffiths, great stop by Theoklitos. Still the danger not completely averted. Elridge waits on the edge of the box. This is Musialik.
Oh, what a
rather
chance.
Harefield, and eventually Melbourne scramble it away.
What a chance. I thought could have gone on his own, Mark Bridge. Chose the unselfish option to Joel Griffiths, but I thought that made the angle better for Theoklitos. Another good save. Piakowski with the error. Here he is, I think. Drive on by yourself, pull it onto your left foot. He licks the play to Joel Griffiths, just narrowed the angle.
And here he comes. Well, there's only a roof over two sides of this stadium in the Hunter, but I'll tell you what, if there were four roofs, they'd take them all off when this guy gets brought on. Well, finally, he gets his permission to come onto the field. Not sure if there's a bit of a communication problem there. And there's his first touch, which is a good one.
Well, needless to say, Jardel will lead the front line.
Well, he's done that for most of the clubs he's played for. And if he gets a chance in the air, I can guarantee he'll take it. That's his real strength. He's still some way off peak fitness, of course, but you never lose your goal-scoring touch. Under 8 minutes to go. Here's Caceres. Melbourne threatening. Past the challenge. Caceres! It's 2-2! Incredible! Adrian Caceres off the bench and on the score sheet.
Well, would you believe it? Newcastle won't be able to believe it. Ernie Merrick, having finally bought Caceres, I thought he was someone who might have come on at half-time. That's a wonderful finish in the end. He just keeps his head. But really, as the ball comes through here, Adam Griffiths gets beaten. He just goes to ground there. Really could have done better. Makes up Caceres' mind. He's really got the ball there. He misses it completely. Caceres skips around him. And he still has to find the finish. And he does. He keeps his head. Here Adam Griffiths goes for the ball, misses it. There he keeps his head, buries it. Would you believe it? Melbourne back to 2-2.
Tell me something. How have Newcastle not won this game already?
Well, it's quite... There's still a bit of
Still
time
might,
to go.
of course. Here's Joel Griffiths in space inside the box. He was clattered into by Muscat. Newcastle fans screaming for a penalty. Griffiths remains down. Ball up towards Jardel. Oh, that was nearly the moment they all paid to see.
Well, he's gone near post. I think if he loops towards the far post, Jardel, he'll score. Theocritos was off his line.
Now the boos are for Melbourne because they're playing on. Joel Griffiths has stayed down with an injury. Now play will be pulled up for the foul on Grant Brebner. And the Jets fans are trying to alert Matthew Breeze's attention to the fact that Joel Griffiths needs some treatments. And I think now is the moment he will finally get it.
Here's the chance for Jardel. Muscat and Joel Griffiths clashing. In fact, it's not the chance for Jardel. This is the chance for Jardel. Long cross for the ball. Look at Theocritos who slips. If he loops that to the far post, he goes for the near post. To be fair, he is a long way out. There is nothing more than half a chance.
Well, wouldn't that have been some moment for the Brazilian? This is Caceres, whose goal has looked to have earned Ernie Merrick's team a point. Matthew Breeze looks at the watch and decides that'll do. It ends in yet another draw. Quite how, I'm not sure the Newcastle Jets even know, because they should have won this game, but they didn't. And it's another draw for Melbourne, who at this rate will end up with 21 points at the end of the season. Newcastle Jets miss out on the chance to go top, and a silence falls upon Energy Australia Stadium. Full-time, Newcastle Jets 2, Melbourne victory 2.
Newcastle coach Gary Van Egmond says he'll continue to use star signing Mario Jardel in the best way to suit the squad. He also believes his working relationship with Con Constantine is fine, despite the club's owner going public on his desire for Jardel to see more game time. Coaches are used to getting told what to do by armchair critics, but when the boss talks, you generally listen. However, the line between coach and chairman has become blurred at the Jets in recent days, with Con Constantine's public desire to see more from his expensive signing, Mario Jardel.
And if Mario figures into that, then Mario will start. If Mario's more of a bench player, then Mario will be in that situation. If we don't think Mario should be involved at all, then Mario won't be involved.
Jardel has seen limited time in the 2 games he's been available for this season, and while the coach respects the owner's wishes, he feels selection should be left up to him.
As far as I'm concerned, the coaching position is something which shouldn't be touched.
To be fair, he's facing much bigger problems this weekend, with Joel Griffiths sidelined with both shin and thigh injuries.
It's a pretty deep cork, and it's probably one of the hardest corks I've ever had. So, hopefully, if I be the ultimate professional, I'll have it right.
There are key players within each A-League setup which are irreplaceable, and Joel fits into that category for us.
The coach, though, already impressed by former Perth-based striker Boy Makape, who joined the club this week and may yet get a start against Sydney FC this weekend off the bench.
Newcastle Jets midfielder Stu Michalek is appearing before an A-League disciplinary hearing tonight on an offensive conduct charge during Friday's draw with Melbourne. Meanwhile, the debate over whether Mario Jardel